Say when.
Go.
Hey! So, welcome to another episode of How I Spent the Apocalypse. Before we go any further, I would like to plug our theater group, which of course we're not doing any theater now because of COVID-19. But when we do and are able to do theater again, we're going to need as much support from the community as possible. So, I support the Mulberry Little Theater, and this supports me. In other words, I'm going to sit on this. All right, so you've heard me say it before, but maybe you weren't listening. I have zero vanity, and so therefore, I also have very little patience with people that are extremely vain. I especially have trouble with that at this time. I can't believe that people have to go get their hair cut and or get it permanent or get their nails done during the COVID-19 thing. Because let's face it, that's dangerous for the operator, it's dangerous for the patrons. It's an unnecessary risk over something as simple as, I'd like to have a good haircut.
You think it's simple?
I think it's simple. I just really don't care. Lynn's like, I'm afraid I'm going to mess up your hair. It's like, I don't give a shit. And let me explain why. My father was one of the greatest beauticians that probably ever lived. He was a high stylist. And so he was always doing something to my hair. Always. Coloring it, permanenting it, cutting it in weird and fancy ways. I was never allowed to say, I don't want it that way. I just had to let him do whatever he wanted to with it. And what he would always say was, because people would throw living fits occasionally. He had a shop in California where he had 18 operators. And occasionally people would just come completely undone because they got a haircut they didn't like. And my dad would always say to me, he'd say, it grows back. You know what? Your hair will grow back. Right now, I don't like my hair to get long. I especially don't like it in the summertime, but I don't like it, period. Because you have to realize that at one point in time, I almost got killed because my hair was a little long. Okay, so let me tell you this story. Because my friend Tom once laughed till he almost puked because of this story.
And the doctor laughed.
The doctor laughed too. Okay, so a long time ago, when I used to fight in the SCA, that's the Society for Creative Anachronisms, I also used to make armor all the time. And we were having a huge fighter practice here, and I was making a bunch of armor for people. And I was buffing out a pair of cuffs on the on my grinder. So I had the wire wheels going, and blah, blah, blah. Well, my son came in. He was a young boy at that time. And he came in, and he did, my son the genius. Well, this is a Little Willie moment. Little Willie came in, and he did that thing that kids will do, where they ask 4 billion questions. Can I do this? Can I do that? Can I do... If you say yes to any of those questions, they will apply it to the thing they most wanted to do on that list. And then when you say, I told you not to do that, they say, well, I asked you, and you say, yes, which we all know is bullshit. So I'm trying to buff this thing of cuffs out. My son is sitting there, can I do this? Can I do that? Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, no, because I know what's going to happen, right? And so then he gets mad, and he goes out of the shop, and he slams at the door. Well, the door had a 2x4 in it to keep it open. And so when he does this 2x4 starts to fall and hit him in the head. So I reach out and grab this 2x4 to keep it from hitting my son in the head. And when I do, my hair gets stuck in the wire wheel of that grinding wheel.
It was pretty long then.
It was longer then, yes. It got stuck in the wire wheel. It ripped a hunk of hair out of my head size of my fist, threw me on the ground, pulled the grinder out of the mounts, and it slammed into the side of my head.
Be still.
Right. Be still. Now she sounds like my dad. Now you know my dad, when he would cut my hair when I wouldn't be still, he used to slap me in the head with the comb.
I started to, and I decided I couldn't get away with it.
Yeah, you could. It would have been funny. But at any rate, so it hits me right across my temporal lobe. And long story short, I wind up with what my doctor called the worst case of post-concussion syndrome he had ever seen, where he laughed when I told him that story and told him that I should be dead. Well, what I didn't talk about for years was during that moment I actually had what I can only explain as a near-death experience. Because when I hit the ground, I literally, I guess I blacked out, and I saw two tendrils of light, and I knew that one way was stay here and the other way was do something else. I'm not going to pretend to know what, and I'm not going to pretend for sure that it was anything other than my brain trying to die. Okay, but what brought me back was my son screamed, this blood-curdling scream, and so I was right back. But I came so close to dying that ever since then, I'm almost phobic. If my hair gets long enough, it can get caught in a power tool. So it is getting to that length now, and so Lynn's going to cut it for me. And no matter what it looks like, I'm not going to bitch about it.
You all are my witness. She's not going to bitch about it.
I'm not going to bitch about it. If she, hopefully she'll cut it short enough.
Well, I can always cut it shorter. If you don't think it's short enough, I can go through this again.
Well, just cut it however you want, but it doesn't look like you're cutting off very much. But, yeah, but my thing is like, I would rather do this than go and possibly catch COVID or give COVID to the barber at the shop. But not only that, my barber, who I went to for years, I think I told you this already, my step-grandson went to go get a haircut there, and neither him nor any of the patrons were masked up.
Maybe they are now, since it's the law.
And yeah, but you know what? It shouldn't take the law. People ought to have a brain. You know, it's like it's a simple thing. You know, it's like...
So what she's not telling you is that it took her forever to go to the doctor because, of course, she's too cheap to take herself to the doctor. Anyone else can go, but she's too cheap to take herself to the doctor.
Well, I don't really trust them either, so there's that.
There's that.
There's that.
So we went to a convention. We did all kinds of other stuff. She fell off a damn ladder. She couldn't dance because she couldn't keep her balance. And finally, Carolyn Cherry's the one who told her. She said, "You've got a concussion. Go to the doctor." And so she went to the doctor, and sure as not, of course, by that point, she didn't really have a concussion anymore. She just had post-concussion syndrome. And what she didn't tell you is this test the doctor did was a very clever little test.
It was. It's a simple test that you guys can do at home after you have a kid that falls or you fall and you want to know whether or not you're concussed. Okay, so here's what they do. They have you stand with your heels together, put your hands down to your side, and close your eyes. And if when they do this, you wobble, then you have a concussion. The reason why he said I had the worst case he'd ever seen is because I literally fell over.
Yeah.
And the nurse had to catch me.
Yeah.
So that's how bad it was.
That was funny. Ha ha ha.
Well, he thought it was funny. He was kind of sadistic when you think about it, but that's okay. Okay, so while I'm sitting here getting my hair cut and you're watching me get my hair cut, I will also tell you some other things that are annoying the shit out of me. And I will tell you some other things that are annoying the shit out of me, and other things that aren't annoying the shit out of me that I think are actually pretty cool. So some of the things that are annoying the shit out of me. We now have in Portland, we now have unmarked military people running in grabbing people off the street, and apparently the same people that weren't okay with, you know, being told what to do with masks and think it's against their freedom to be asked to wear a mask are apparently okay with armed soldiers not, grabbing people off the street and putting them in unmarked cars. So I don't really understand that. One of the things I think is cool though, and it's about time we talk about something cool. One of the things I think is really cool is that more people are getting chickens, more people are gardening. My only problem with that is that they should have been doing that all along. Because if you really want to help our environment out, one of the things you can do is grow part of your own groceries. If you live in an apartment, if you grow a tomato plant or a pepper plant or a basil plant in your window, then that's all you can do. That's that much that doesn't have to be trucked in. Every single thing that you raise for yourself not only gives you a certain amount of independence and keeps you from feeding the giant corporations, but every single thing that you do for yourself, whether it's work on your own plumbing or your own electrical or fix your own things when they break, every single thing you do makes you more independent. It's not even that it's good for the economy. It's super good for you. Getting out there and gardening, it's going to help you in so many ways. You're going to have better food. You're going to get the exercise it takes to get it. All of that. You're going to be outside in nature, even if it's only for a couple hours a day or 30 minutes a day or 5 minutes a day. Whatever you spend doing it, it's going to be worth the effort. It's going to be a huge thing. So that's one of the things that I think is good. But I mean, like I said, I think that a lot of people are now realizing they would have been better off if they had been in this for a while. That little bit of gardening, that little bit of chicken culture. I gotta tell you this is screwed up. I've never had to look at myself before when this is going on. I don't like it. I like it better with...
Tell me where you want me to cut.
I don't know. It could be shorter here.
On your ears? Both
yeah,
of them?
around
Both
my
of
ears.
them?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't really give a shit.
I'm worried about the ears.
Well, they do need to be covered, so maybe that's good. Maybe that's good. It's going to keep them from sunburning.
Are they even? Even enough?
I don't give a shit.
I
You know me, I'm going to go like this. And then dry it, and whatever it looks like, that's good. I don't think you didn't cut off very much
Yes,
hair.
I did. I did quite a bit of hair.
No, you didn't.
Okay, I can get some more on the sides where you're curling.
Okay, well, get some more.
Because I know you don't like those curly
No,
things.
I don't like the curly things. It makes me look like a girl. What the hell's up with that?
It doesn't bother me nearly as much as it bothers you.
Oh, it does bother me a lot, though. It's like, cut some more hair. You haven't cut shit. There should be a pile of hair on the floor.
There is. It's just all over the place.
Oh, by the way, hair is really good for your garden. Dog hair, your hair,
But
everybody's
do not
hair.
give it to your parakeets for nesting material.
Don't give it to your parakeets for nesting material. They will get it wound up around them and it'll cause problems. Unless it's super short hair.
Yeah, well, your hair might be okay.
Yeah.
Don't give them my hair.
Yeah. But, hair is really good for your garden. Dad used to have the shop. He used to put hair from his shop in the garden. I used to put hair from his shop in my garden. It's really good stuff. It's not so good if it's been dyed or bleached. But otherwise, really good. Rich in nitrogen and helps aerate the soil. And that's one of the things we can do from now on. From now on, let's not just throw shit out. Let's not be freaking hoarders that walk around through paths in their house full of cat shit and feces and crap. But let's just quit throwing things away without thought. Let's just wonder about the things why are we buying so many packaged items? Do we really need all those packaged items? And can we use those packages for something else later on? Or are they just going to be something else that's going to fill up the landfill?
I'm sorry. I know that.
My wife tried to cut my throat.
And well, no, honey, that's not your throat. That's the back.
You know what she says? She says, you know what she says? She's very violent. Ooh, put on some leather first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not a big enough.
You know what she says? She says this thing. She says, when I die, she's going to have me cremated. And then she's going to put me in a coffee can because she knows if she does anything expensive, I'll be pissed off and come back and haunt her. So she's going to have me put in a coffee can.
Plastic one.
A plastic one.
Uh-huh.
And then she's going to put that coffee can in the living room with her so she can finally be in a room where I am and she can talk. I think that's rather cold, don't you think that's cold? I don't think she appreciates me.
I think that's kind of realistic.
You don't appreciate me. You're lucky to have me. You're such a lucky girl.
I'm a lucky girl. Okay,
You
I'm
are.
not finished. I'm going to trim your neck a little.
Okay.
Well, hair.
Don't trim my
the hair
neck.
around your neck, Juanita.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll be right back.
Yeah, my mother could have done this because my mother used to cut my dad's hair and she was actually really good. But right now, mother doesn't feel good enough to do it. I think she could have cut a lot more off. Anyway, at least it'll be shorter. Maybe you won't get caught in a wire wheel. Am I poofy on the side? I don't know.
I don't think you're poofy on the side. I just cut a bunch out of the sides.
Okay. Okay.
If you'd be still, I could tell.
Cut some more around my ears.
She says now.
Oh, I just do because it looks poofy.
You want some more off the here?
Yeah, just cut that. It looks poofy. Cut it short. It's okay. Just cut it pretty short. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care.
Is
I
that
don't want it
better?
to poof out on the side. It looks like,
A little more here?
yeah, it looks ridiculous. I look like a poodle. I don't want to.
You know, honey, it's not curly enough for a poodle.
Well,
Maybe an Airedale.
Airedale? No, I don't think so. At any rate, I hope that you too are having your loved one cut your hair. I hope that you aren't wading into COVID land just to get. What the hell is that?
It's the fancy thing. Looks like a lipstick.
What the hell is it? Some kind
It's a
of
razor.
Oh, is it? Did you buy one of those fancy ass razors off the fucking? What the hell is wrong with you?
I only did it before I retired.
You're such a girl.
Yes, I am.
What the hell is anything? You know what? That's one of the dangers we have. Is anything she sees advertised, she'll buy it if you're not careful.
Not anymore. Not that I'm retired.
Yeah. That's kind of a weird little sensation. Okay, so there you go. There is my haircut. I can't really see it, but I don't care. I don't have to look at my own hair. And guess what? There's nobody here. And we're not going anywhere. So who